Fine. What I plan to do is take up the very first poem that I took few months back, word for word. And I start with Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Here, this particular presentation will be bereft of the background. I'm just taking up, but I will leave nothing unexplained. I'll just take up word for word paraphrase of the poem stanza-wise. So the first stanza of Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender is there in front. I am highlighting it. It's here. And it reads, far, far from gusty waves these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming, these are two different words, boy with rat's eyes, the stunted unlucky heir of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk, at back of the dim class, one unnoted sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in a tree room other than this. This is the first stanza, and word for word paraphrase of this particular stanza is what I am ready with. Now the first line, far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, full stop. There seems to be an abrupt end. So the author, again, a little bit of background is imperative. Far, far from gusty waves, that is, waves here refers to waves of change. Gusty, powerful waves of change, or winds of change that have brought prosperity to the world. So far, far from all regions on earth where powerful waves of change and prosperity have brought riches and wealth to the world, today the poet says he is going to take us all to a place, in fact a school, in fact a classroom in a school, and show the children's faces and show children over there. Show children's faces here means show children over there, and show actually how what the politicians, the leaders boast regarding the poverty alleviation programs that they have undertaken across the world, resulting in lessening of poverty, is actually not true. There still exists abject poverty, there still exists undernourishment and malnourishment as of it. So far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, far, far from such places on earth where there is prosperity, riches and wealth, he is taking us to sample a few children who are a proof that what we are given to understand about the different programs launched by political leaders to bring in wealth and prosperity is actually not true. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn around their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Let's consider the second line, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Now possibly, this is what I read in an academic essay online, possibly standing at the threshold, that is at the entrance of the class, when the child looked at these children and his sight fell on the unkempt, uncombed hair falling around their head in an untidy manner. He perhaps got reminded of orchids which grow on trees with their roots hanging loose in the air. So he compares or likens these children to those orchids, to those to those. He doesn't liken them to orchids. She sees a striking similarity between the hair torn around and untidily around their faces with the roots of the orchids that fall loose in air, and calls them rootless weeds. He calls these children rootless weeds. And he calls them rootless weeds to bring home 2 points. One, rootless, that these children do not have, or their parents do not have, any place on earth which they can rightfully call theirs. Rootless. Weeds, because they are unwanted, undesired, as if the politicians, the leaders, the decision makers have washed their hands off these children. They're these big political leaders who have these big executives who have decision making power have shunned their responsibility as far as with regards to these children. The hair torn round their pallor, pale absence of life-giving blood, suggestive of undernourishment, and the hair, which the strands of hair, the long strands of hair, which are untidily hanging around their faces, unkempt hair. He next describes a tall girl.